Guys, whatever you do, and I'm telling you this like as a friend, as a fellow angler, do not, never throw these things on a Ned rig.
Oh my God, that's a monster. Oh, we're putting her on this scale. Dude, that's the biggest one of all of them. Dude, just poked her right in the face.
Don't do it. No, please. Please don't do it. Like, I'm begging you. Don't throw this stuff on a Ned. I catch tiny fish on a Ned rig, and I catch giant, or what is that Takahiro Amori say? Big fish. I catch big ones, I catch small ones, I catch numbers, I catch size. The Ned rig is the stupidest rig in fishing. It is the dumbest, kind of almost shaky head rig ever, but I cannot argue with the fact that it works day in and day out. I don't care what body of water you're on. I don't care if you're fishing rock or if you're fishing grass and stuff like this around what we're kind of like dangling in right now. It works, dude. You can give it to a 5-year-old. They can. It's like the new school drop shot, but the drop shot didn't catch as many big fish as this thing does. And I got some baits that I put on it that I don't think a lot of people actually put on it. And I know immediately there's gonna be a bunch of comments down in the comments box. TRD, TRD. And yes, it works. There's no doubt about it that it works. But the fact that there's like 300 people in the comments saying like I should be throwing a TRD, that also speaks to the fact that mixing it up and trying some different things also kind of plays into my hand, I think. But yes, the TRD is awesome, and it floats and it stands up and all that. So with that being said, we're gonna run through, and please don't throw these, I'm begging you guys. We're gonna run through some Ned baits that a little out of the box, some standard stuff, as well as stuff that's a little out of the box that you can put on your Ned head and rig it up, whether it's mag stuff, whether it's got little appendage. I'll show you, dude. There's some cool things, and there's different times that it works, and we're gonna run through that. So stick with me, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's talk baits, bro. So first off, standard Ned, all it is kind of this dome mushroom head, just like that. This is a Nichols JCK or JC Kenny Mag Ned, but it's just that dome. I mean, really, it's a glorified shaky head. It's got a little kind of like tiny hook on it. This has a little bit bigger hook than a lot of the Neds. For the most part, I throw bigger Neds than most people. In Alabama, I am throwing some tiny stuff, like little Clint Davis. The Nichols makes like a little Clint Davis. It's got a super tiny hook on it. And I'll use some micro baits on there as well as that TRD. But for the most part, the biggest variation that you're gonna see with what I do with the Ned versus what most people do with the Ned is I throw bigger stuff on it. I like to. Like, I mean, I fish a lot in Florida, and in Florida is where I learned about the Ned, but I've also had it work in Alabama, especially ledge fishing, dude. Like, a Ned is absolutely killer. So I'm gonna start with one of my favorites, and there's a couple different versions. I'm gonna show you kind of how I use them too. So the big one that I love is, this is a 7-inch fat ace. It's basically a Magnum stick bait. A lot of people make them. I use the Gambler one, use whatever one you want. But this one I was actually already using, but usually what I'll do is I'll cut it, that's the worm sack right there, and I'll cut it off at the worm sack, and I get that big dopey fat piece of plastic. And me and JT were actually talking, and part of the reason that I think the Ned works, especially when you're like upsizing, is it seems like pre-spawn and staging fish want something that's like a big meal, like a fat dinner, but they don't want it like super long. Like, I have not caught many fish like pre-spawn on 10-inch worms, maybe on Okeechobee a little bit, but once you get into like the colder waters, like a shorter but still bulky presentation seems to really trigger them. And even at the opposite end of the spectrum, dead of summer, 172 degrees, dying of sweat, these fish are like laying on the bottom, like super warm. It seems like they want something finesse that's shorter, but they want it fat because they don't want to eat all the time. And then the other variation is like a fat ace or an ace. This is an ace, I believe. I'll do the exact same thing, and I'll play with my sizes. I'll go that 7-inch fat ace down to the 6-inch fat ace down to the 5-inch fat ace. And literally, I will take that thing. You see the worm sack right there? Usually, if they're biting it decent, I'll cut it off at the front of the worm sack, because then I get a bigger bait. If I'm fishing for smallmouth, or the water's super cold, or I feel like they're short striking it, I will cut that right there. This is breaking my heart because I got to remember to use this plastic on a jig. I hate wasting plastics. But see, you get kind of like a short presentation. And I think that pointed tail too. So one thing I don't like about the TRD is it's like a nub like that. I think the pointed tails, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite baits on this on a more finesse side, really play a role in getting more bites. So personal opinion, but that's like my mainstay go-to. My other one, and this is like if the fatter baits don't work and I need something that's like a little bit more finesse, and I've showed you guys this a million times. It's a Demiki Stinger. This is, I think, a 4-inch one, so it's a little bit bigger, but I'll put like the 3-inch, actually this is a 5-inch. I'll put the 3-inch and the 4-inch on here. This is a 1/4 ounce head, but still that JT Kenny one. But like, that's the trick right there. Like that icicle tail, I mean, maybe it's just in my brains, but I truly believe in that thing. I'm down here in Florida, and I was fishing with my buddy Caleb. Check him out, Bass Quest, fishes Chickamauga, a trophy bass master. And dude, understands so many more nuances than I do. Like, I'm looking forward to maybe like 5 years down the road when I understand the TVA like he does. And you still don't catch him all the time, but he's amazing. Go watch him. But he was down here. We're fishing some of these deep lakes in Florida, and if you can hear it in the background, there's a lot of wind. The wind has been blowing, and I don't mean like a nice 12-mile-an-hour perfect for fishing. I mean like 15, 25, even 30, like 30-mile-an-hour gusts. So it churned up the water, and it also kind of, I don't know, it displaces the water and chops up the top, so there's not as much visibility underwater. And we noticed, I threw a whole bunch of these jokers and caught some fish, but we noticed that the moment we picked up something with appendages, we started catching big ones. Caught a couple 9s, a couple 8s, some 6s, and literally, man, I don't know if it's the current is moving the appendages or the appendages displace water. Like, I don't know why it's happening. The water's definitely a little bit tingy, but one of mine, I mean, we'll jump right to it. This is the Gambler Burner Craw. I mean, there's a lot of like kicking craws like this. The big key though is this, and this one was actually on one of my net heads. The tubular or cylindrical body, and you're gonna see that theme across all the baits that I'm gonna show you. Like, they're almost like all stick baits, but then they have like little dangle arms coming off of them, a little bit of like little appendages. So this is a great example. It's got the 2 kicker legs. They're not super big, but like, it's perfect for that Ned. It slides right on the magnet and matches up. So we were using this guy, and to be honest with you, we weren't even like moving it, like barely moving it every once in a while, but I really think the current and the wind was actually like causing these legs to kick, and that's what was actually triggering our bite. So if you get wind, if you have a little bit of stained water, be open to appendages. And another variation on that, this is a little bit bigger, but the O-Beast. This is the Gambler O-Beast. It's an O-Beast body. It's a burner worm, dude. It's a 6-inch burner worm there, or a 8-inch burner worm. There is a 6-inch one too, but once again, cylindrical body. So it's basically, you know, a stick bait body. This one has a little bit bigger tail. I didn't catch as many fish on this, but I did get some bigger bites. Caught a couple, I think like 4s and 5s on this thing. But it's that same kind of hook tail with the water displacement. Here's a cool thing about this one. It's used up, so whatever. So when the tail rips off, you got another stick bait, and I've actually used these jokers. They're kind of like the O-Beast. But this tail with water displacement, if you have wind, stained water, definitely put something on that has a tail. All right, we're gonna move to some other weird stuff. One more gambler thing, and then we're gonna move off. This is a why not. And actually, this is a color that I like. It's called Ghost Gill. If you guys got green or semi-clear water, it's absolutely killer. It's like a green pumpkin. It's almost like a green pumpkin magic. It's like silver flake, black flake, green pumpkin. It's pretty bad to the bone. But I tried the why not, and once again, I'm clipping the head off, and this one, it has appendages. They don't kick as much. This is more like a gliding flipping style bait, and I did variations. I did it without these appendages. I ripped these appendages off and I left them on. I like leaving them on because I think they have little like ribs on them, if you can see them, and I think they chatter. Once again, that cylindrical kind of body form, I think is hugely important. So like any variation, burner crawl, why not, burner worm, like all of those kind of provide some extra water displacement and a different appendage body, but they're still that classic Ned shape. So they fit on the head right, they hold on, they're perfect. So let's get to some weird stuff. Caleb, this one's for you, buddy. I don't even know what the hell this thing is called. Caleb caught like a 9-pounder on it. So I'm like, I'm interested. So it's the same. It's funny how all this stuff is so alike. Once again, cylindrical body. It's that circular body. This one's a little wider, maybe a little more comparable to like that 7-inch Ace body. Crazy color. Still got some green and blue in it. Makes me happy. But it's got these funky appendages, and I really think the Ned is about doing less. And when you throw it out there, especially when you get windy days like this, the wind almost works the bait for you. So with these appendages, especially like straight ones like that, you throw it out there and this bait's just gonna kind of like wave. Like it's gonna sit there on the bottom and just shake a little and wave. And I think Tacticalbassin talked about it, but like the whole key to a Ned is the less you do, the better you are, like the more you catch. And I've found that too. But just changing up body forms. The other thing is too, we're throwing this to like schools. So we would throw like the burner craw. We would throw a burner worm with a tail. We would throw the Ace. We catch fish on all of these things, but they kept seeing it and we kept catching a lot. And once we would switch up baits, it's classic like ledge or school, you know, bass school fishing. Once we'd switch up baits, they get triggered again. Triggered, boy. they get re-triggered, and then we catch another like 5 or 6 more. So maybe it wasn't so much the bait as changing it up, but this thing, I don't know what it is. Caleb, if you watch this video, put it down in the comments box. I think it's available at Tackle Warehouse, but just think cylindrical body, crazy appendages. And that moves us on to the last one too. I like Damiki stuff. They make some kind of funky, kind of cool stuff. This is a Damiki air craw. Once again, like I can't repeat enough, cylindrical body. Okay, so this one's kind of unique though, because for those of you busting my balls for not using a TRD because it floats in that, this has claws that are actually, I don't know if you guys can see that, there's a little hole in there. Should probably grab the green one. There's air pockets in these claws. So each one of these claws has an air pocket, causing the bait to stand up more upright, and then these claws kind of stand up. So you get kind of that TRD like presentation. You also get these kind of like appendages with balls. Appendages with balls. Nice job, Mike. But you know, just something different, and you can see how much they shake. Like it's blowing a little bit, but even when I hit my hand on it, like any kind of change up from an appendage standpoint, you still want to have that body, because that's the body that fits on the Ned. And I think it's kind of the beauty of the Ned is you're always throwing a glorified stick bait. You're throwing a glorified shaky head with a glorified stick bait. And that's the beauty of it, because both of those things catch tons of fish, dude. But I think the Ned kind of has a play because it's a little different head, and it gets some of the bigger bites. But, you know, air pockets in the claws, little tentacles. So the gist of this is, though, don't throw any of these baits, please. No. Dude, throw them. Try them. Let me know if they work for you. But the gist of it is you can throw anything on a Ned. However, like I wouldn't recommend throwing like, hold on for a second. Like I wouldn't recommend throwing this. This is a gambler stinger. I was actually doing some sight fishing with it. I wouldn't throw this because I think part of the deal with the Ned is having that cylindrical body and having it fall really easy, which allows you to use like a lighter weight. But at the same time, it comes through the water without too much drag. It's a very easy kind of like fish back to you. So I would stay away from sort of your diamond body like creature style baits, but anything that has a cylindrical style body, and the more and weirder appendages, the better you are, dude. Like, so, you know, be creative. Go on Tackle Warehouse. I'm going to put links to all this stuff down in the description box at Tackle Warehouse. You can check it out, and I will figure out what this is from Caleb the mystery bait. That's what I should call this video, the mystery bait. But, you know, literally you can go on Tackle Warehouse and look at the creature baits. Look for things that have a cylindrical body and fairly, you know, plain appendages. Maybe like one tail or 2 small tails, little like shaker tentacles, like anything like that. And it's going to work on the Ned, dude. Like some's going to work better than others, but experiment around a little bit and mix it up, because as of right now, the Ned is probably one of the most like standardized popular baits across the country, especially for anybody just getting into fishing. It's like what the drop shot was like 10 years ago, dude. It'll catch fish anywhere, anytime, anyhow. So being ahead of the curve and being a little creative with it and mixing it up, and not throwing these baits that I'm telling you that work, you know, that's important, because it's all about staying a little bit different but doing the same thing. Nuances, boys. Oh, Joe Booba. Bog says, what's up, guys? little tips video. Maybe we'll give them a treat next time. Thank you guys for watching this thing. If you guys got any recommendations on Ned baits for me, definitely throw them down there. And let me know if I'm on the right track. If you guys think like the cylindrical thing is something that works. And if you tried any of those baits with appendages, I love hearing your feedback, because this is kind of a community back and forth thing. Like, I learn stuff from you guys, you learn stuff from me, and we all get better at what we do. You know what I'm saying? Better at the craft, bro. So thank you guys for watching. Tight lines won't keep you any longer. We will see you back out on the lake fishing. We're talking about fun, like plastic baits and stuff like that. So tight lines, bro. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.